When people come here for the first time, they're just like, wow, I didn't think this existed. We hear that when people walk onto Seaside. That's probably one of the first things people say is, I had no idea this was here. This is amazing. I grew up in Tampa. My parents had a beach house at 20 Gulf Boulevard, so we were very familiar with Indian Rocks Beach. Probably late 80s to 90s, we started to see condos being built. And where were they being built? Well, they weren't being built on vacant land. They were being built on formerly what we thought were incredibly charming cottages and small properties. You can't stop progress all the time, but you can certainly slow it down. So we started purchasing these when we could and preserved them. Indian Rocks has, on a yearly basis, voted against building high-rises. If you see any, they were done in the 70s. So after that, people were like, wait, no, we want it small. We want to keep it under 36 feet. It attracts people to that sense of community where things were like they were in the 50s and 60s, as much as you could. So we have a lot of bars and restaurants. It's a real sense of place. Well, Gulfside Resorts came to be in 1987 when we bought our first property. And at that time, the beach was somewhat depressed. It was in rough shape. A lot of people that lived there full time because it was an expensive place to live. The taxes were low, insurance was low. So people that owned these places didn't invest a lot of money in them. They didn't have to. They probably inherited it from their grandparents, from their parents. That drew Lee and I in. And my husband was a builder at the time we met. We've been together since we were 20, and he had some building skills. I liked advertising and marketing and decorating and things. So it was a good skill set, if you will, to mesh and to be able to save cottages. This is Cook's Cottage. So prior to the 20s, you were not legally allowed to have a kitchen attached to your cottage. So every cottage that's of that vintage didn't have any way to cook. They would have what's called like a cook's cottage. That whole wall was this outside kitchen, this enormous grill that was shared among all the other cottages. And then in the 20s, you were allowed to put kitchens because they had fire departments at that time. So what we're trying to do every week, as corny as it sounds, is we're really trying to build a community. We are trying to bring together like-minded people for a vacation for a week. That doesn't mean that everybody looks alike, everybody has the same politics. What it means is they're in search of the same experience. When people call us, we interview them in the nicest way, and it helps them, it helps us, and it helps everybody that stays here. So we're trying to build a community, and the magic comes when they book the next year and they book together, and they've never met each other. So their kids grow up coming here, so this becomes their beach house. And it is an incredible thing where they bring their families and they bring other people. And they're just like, oh my God, everybody's so nice. And I'm like, yeah, kind of by design. We want to rent to people that respect Old Florida. They look at this and go, that's what I want. They really want to be here. And halfway through the week, people are like, oh my gosh, we're from the same area. We like to do the same things. And we have, in the summertime, kids are around the same age. So then then there's a synergy that comes, and you don't get that in a condo. You don't get that in a big hotel. You don't. So yeah, it's a big deal to us. It's a big deal to us. We put a lot of time, energy, love into these places. What you're seeing is all original art. We have collected artists throughout the years. The furniture is bespoke. We go through Mitchell Gold. We put nice things because people, they see the difference, they appreciate it. We do our best to make each guest feel like part of the family. We've interviewed them ahead of time, so we know what they're looking for. Everybody gets a beverage of choice, be that a beer, wine, a scotch, kombucha, whatever. That's waiting for them. We know exactly when they're coming. We have somebody help them with help them get into their cottage. We celebrate with them if they have anniversaries. We'll put flowers if they have, a special occasion. And a lot of people, because they've been coming for 15, 20 years, they have little picadillos, They're like, now Johnny's got those bad allergies, so everything for that week is washed and dressed, and no one uses anything but vinegar. The guest at Sarah's Seaside said we were the nicest people in a vacation that she's ever stayed in their whole life. She had a special needs child, and she told us that ahead of time. We changed the furniture, we did some things, and made it so unbelievable, not just ramps and things like that. She just could not believe somebody went to that. And we were like, we couldn't believe somebody wouldn't do that, right? I mean, here's somebody with a special needs child that travels, that how hard that is. So she moved down here. She's like, that was one of the reasons I came down here. You were the nicest people to me. You've done something really special when that means so much to them. We've always taken it seriously because vacation, most people, they save up all year for those 2 weeks or 1 week. They get so excited. We take it incredibly seriously. And if you've met any of the people that work for us, they're amazing. They love hospitality.